The Ultimate Games Master.
For Games Masters, welcome to the complete toolkit of everything, including campaign and world builder, encounters, looting, handouts, questions, sound and lighting. Everything is homebrewable with online or offline play. Control the adventure. Control it all, no matter where you are. For players, everything in one place for all your character needs. Store notes, quests, access your available compendiums, roll dice, interact with other players as well as the Games Master, and so much more. For spectators and streamers, connect your device to the game for an overview of what is happening in real time. Is that player almost dead? Has the druid wild shaped? Now you know exactly what is happening as well. And finally, take your streams to the next level by incorporating real-time character and campaign data into your live stream, all controlled from the comfort of your control panel. The UGM will be available on more devices than you can shake a stick at. Don't miss out, set your reminders as the Ultimate Games Master is kickstarting on July 27th. Visit theultimategamesmaster.com, any platform, any game, anywhere. Would you like to know more?
The Ultimate Games Master.
Hey everybody, Mike with Games Play Badly, and today on Session 0 I talked to Justin. He's one of the developers of an application called the Ultimate Games Master. During this video we go through it in a lot of detail so that way you get a chance to see what it does, and its Kickstarter actually launches today, July 27th. So I'll link that down in the description so that way you have it. The interview is fantastic. Justin's a great guy, and I could have gone on for hours and hours and hours. More exciting news, Gemmed Firefly, whose shirts I wear in every video I do, has been so kind as to come on as a sponsor. So I want to make sure that everyone gets amazing shirts like this, and all you have to do is go to gemmedfirefly.com, put in our code BADLY15, badly15 at checkout, and get 15% off your order. So if you want amazing t-shirts to support a good person doing great things in the community, definitely go to gemmedfirefly.com. Either way, I am so excited about this video. I cannot wait. That interview starts now. Justin, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Mike.
Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. No, it's good. Good to see you in person.
Yeah, virtually, it's fine. You know, this works, right?
Definitely, yeah, it's good. I mean, chatting on Twitter and things like that, it's actually good to speak to you.
Yeah, right, exactly. I feel the same way. Like, typically, before these interviews, I'm talking with people, and we have really good conversations, but it's different when you're on a call, you can actually see somebody. So it's really good to put a face to a name.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's good. So, here we are.
Here we are. And you had contacted me about your project, which I think is really awesome, because we were talking about having a lot of us, especially now in this digital age, we have a lot of bits and bobs that we use to roll dice, keep track of adventures, all this other stuff. And so what you've kind of done is your project, you've kind of brought all that stuff into one cohesive application, right?
That's right, yeah. Yeah, it all came out of, like you said, had so much things flying around all over the place. I had books and apps for this, apps for that, apps for music. And being a developer myself, I thought one day, well, I'll just write a very crude app to put it all together, just to make my life easier as a DM and a GM. And I did that over a period of a few months, and started using it, and I thought, actually, this is quite good. Other people might like that, and the rest of my table said the same thing. They said, well, what you've done there is actually really good. And then I thought, okay, well, I'll take it a step further. So I then added in the character sheet so they could be on it as well, and networked it all together, which was great. So it all talks to each other across devices as well. So you can have Android talking to Apple, talking to a Mac. It's very versatile like that. Yeah, and it just got developed from then, and got to a point where we thought, well, let's do something with this. And we thought, okay, well, let's try and see what other people think about it. So we took it to the UK Games Expo, a good few years ago now. We had a small stand then, and we were just demoing our product, which is the Ultimate Games Master, which is what we called it. and people loved it. People fell in love with it. They were using our kind of a mock-up version of it at the time, and seeing how it was all working for them as a DM and as a player as well. And it went from then. So from that moment, we kind of just developed the product over a period of like 2 years from that time. Took it again to the Games Expo the year after, had a much bigger stand that time. and again, this, when we went back to the Games Expo, the product was a lot more mature then. And it was working. Everything in it was real. It wasn't smoke and mirrors. It was, everything that they were all talking to each other, the apps. And people really, really loved the product. And we were going to take it last year. Couldn't do that because everyone was shut indoors, fighting away a pandemic, and everyone putting black crosses on their doors.
Yeah, right.
And so we had an even bigger stand. We had a bigger stand again planned, and that was called off. So we just put a lot of time into really polishing the product, and that's where it is today. It's a fully fledged DM Games Master tool. It has everything that a player could ever want in there. And it also has a spectator mode so that other people can look at it. Or if you've got a phone or something, you can bring up the spectator mode on your phone and just see the status of your party or something like that. And then the other mode, it's got a streaming mode. So you can...
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah, you can output it straight to OBS or whatever you use and have it as overlays on your live feeds and have live stats over the top of it. So you're not stuck with static, a lot of people just have like armor class and that's about it. Right. Or maximum hit points, where this one is all live. Everything's live. And it ticks down and people can see exactly what's happening with the party. And it was a way of us sort of making it a lot more immersive for people who were watching it as well. And that's kind of where it is today.
Wow, that's wonderful. I was just thinking about this the other day. One of the guys that I played with in a group a while, probably about 2 months ago, great player, love the guy. I only know his character name. He played this character named Ali. But Ali, we run our game off Discord for that particular group. And I was amazed. He was doing everything off of his phone. Everything. And it just amazes me that you can do all this stuff with just this. Yeah. Just this, and you can make worlds come together, So something like this is exactly what I would be looking for too, because there are methods of kind of integrating things together. D&D and Beyond does some of it. But it doesn't always, you're still missing things. So from the standpoint of content, I mean, what do you have in the, why don't we talk about what you have in the app? So you have Dungeon Master stuff, you have game player stuff. Where is that content coming from? Is that coming from officially licensed WOTC stuff, or is it the open source stuff? So where are you getting your content from?
Well, the content at the moment is from the open source SRD, which is provided by Wizards of the Coast. So we've got that. We'd love to get licensed content at some point in the future. But the thing is, with our product, we're not tied to any game set. So you can play D&D, play Pathfinder, Starfinder, whatever you want. Any kind of. We've got one of our beta testers has got a D100 system. It's nothing like D&D, and we got a game set in progress for him and his players. So you can customize the entire app. You can make it look like what we've got here, which is a fantasy kind of look. We've got sci-fi looks as well. You can be completely themed to your game. So it's completely customizable from the rule set to the compendium content to lore and things like that, all the way through to the theme of the actual app. So you can make it fantasy, sci-fi, horror, whatever, steampunk, whatever your game is. And That's kind of where we're at with that. But you know what we found, I mean, we're running Rise of Tiamat at the moment, and with it, I just go through my book, put in whatever I need. It doesn't take me very long at all. And then if for instance, if there's a monster that's not in the SRD, I've got it in the book for my game. I'll just put it in. It takes me like, I don't know, 30 seconds to put a monster in. And then it's there then for me for as long as I want it. And then if I ever need to use that one again, it's already there for me. So
you've already added it.
Yeah, so you can break it down. I mean, like say you've got the SRD in there, but you've got the ability to specify where your content's coming from. So you can say, okay, I want to use the SRD for and maybe a homebrew load of stuff. So for this particular game, I could be running a homebrew on some rules or some items that aren't in the official stuff. And that's great because you can switch that off if you don't want that. So if you play another game, you can get rid of that stuff and just turn off that particular homebrew game set. So you don't have that content in there. So yeah, it's as flexible as you want it to be, really.
How functional is everything? Is everything basically done at this point?
Yeah, it's a finished product. Like I say, back in 2009, we had a completely finished product. We've added extra features in since then. We were going to launch it in 2020, but
right, yeah,
it went out the window. So we're launching it with a Kickstarter, which is which starts on the 27th of July this month, and that will run for 30 days. And what that's going to be funding is the servers, because the beauty about Ultimate Games Master, which a lot of the other systems don't have, ours will run online or completely offline. You can also run it as a LAN party, so you don't have to have an internet connection. So if you've got an old router kicking around, you can just have that without it connected to the internet. Just plug it into the mains and all play a network game off of that. So, or you can play completely disconnected because you've got the ability to add what we call traditional characters on there. So if you've got someone that always likes to use pen and paper, as long as you've get them to get you their character sheet before you start playing, you can pop it into the app and then they can play off their pen and paper, but they're still a part of the game.
Right.
So their character, because you've had their details, and you'll still be, adding hit points, taking them off, and they can be doing it on their own as well. It will still show up on like the spectator screen and the streaming tools. So that even though they might not be having a device, you still see what their character's about, which is quite. But yeah, that's one of the big things that you can play in the middle of nowhere. If you rock up, because we did have some people that were testing it, and they were doing it in a castle. So
of course they were. There's
no network facilities there at all. So they just bought their phones and a couple of tablets, and they had a game. Yeah. And you can do that. You can also pop it on a device and edit your campaign on the fly. So again, if you haven't got an internet connection, you can tweak your campaign while you're offline and then just sync it back to your data set when you get back home. So there's lots of options there for like content creation as well as actually playing the game itself.
That sounds exciting. Let's take a look at this thing. I mean, you're driving me nuts here. The suspense is killing me.
Okay, so you can see you've got 3 doors. If I take you through the player first, so you go into the player door. We won't play a network game because it's only me here, so we'll go alone. This is what we call your world, or also as a game set. These can be different rules. Like for instance, that was the one I was telling you when we were chatting earlier on, the cartoon world that I play with my kids. So that's based in the cartoon world with like monsters from there, like Venger and Shadow Demon and all that. They're all in that game set. The Sketchwork fantasy game set is the one I play with my table at the moment. So if we go in there, these are all the characters that are available that play on my game at the moment. So if we look at, say, my wife, Larissa. So this is her character sheet. And in here, we've got everything you need to get hold of, from your ability stats. Everything is clickable. So if you don't quite know what something is, you just click it. It's all quite big so that people with bad eyesight can still see it.
Me.
You've got all your skills. Again, everything in here is completely customizable. These are based on 5th edition, which is what our game is on Rise of Tiamat at the moment. Combat actions, I will come back to. Combat stats are all in here. Then we've got the equipment tab, which is all of your equipment. Again, everything is clickable. So if you're not quite sure how something works, you can just click it and it gives you information about it. So if we look at the actions for it, you can drink it, gives you a bit of information. They don't know the cost of this yet. All the way through to money and stuff like that. You've got multiple different places you can store stuff. So if you have, say, a bag of holding, you just click the title here where it says equipment self, and it will say equipment, and then a bag of holding, it'll tell you what you've got inside that. Also, you can go as far as if say your character owns a lockup of some sort, you can have that in there as well. So you can store stuff in there. Then you've got your magic. These are all the spells that this character has for their magic. Again, click it if you don't know what it does. Gives you some information. Again, if you're able to cast it at higher levels and things like that. So you've got all the facilities there. And enhancements is what we kind of link together all your traits and feats. So all in enhancements. So we've got the tiefling traits, then there's no feats there. Warlock features, and you can just cycle through any of your particular, there's a debug screen, screen there. If you click on your a profile picture, it gives you more of your character details. So in here, you've got everything about this particular character, including your personality, bonds, and stuff like that. Any allies and organizations, languages, proficiencies, and things like that as well. So you've got everything at your fingertips there that you're going to need. You've also got this button here, which is the book, and that brings up another little control panel, which has got things like your rest, rolling, spell compendium. If you've got more than one character, because we found that some people that play they play with 2 characters. Mm-hmm. So you have a facility with that to click on that, and you can pick whatever characters that you've got playing in this game.
To touch on that for a moment, is there a way to assign someone else? Like, for instance, obviously scheduling is a problem, so sometimes people can't make it. Can you assign someone else's character to someone else?
Yeah, you can do if that's what you want to do. Yeah, you can do that. When we get to the DM screen in a minute, I'll show you that facility there. Okay. You've also got wild shape changes, polymorphs, stuff like that. All the normal kind of stuff, as well as notes, and your rules compendium as well is all completely searchable. So in the rules compendium, you've got a player version and a GM version. So in the player version, got all the stuff like, you might want falling, want to know the rules for falling. And you can see where that's coming from, system reference document 5.1. So you can do a very quick search for anything you like in there. Can't remember quite how rests work. Go to rests and you've got all your different rests from the different areas. So that's all done from there. Your editor, again, is very easy. It's the book here. So you've got, for multi-classing, you can add more than one class. You can have your subclasses, schools of magic. This is your organizations. languages, proficiency, and you've got everything that you're going to need to change that you'd ever want to change, from your appearance to your abilities, to your proficient abilities, hit stats. Yeah, I mean, there's everything in there. Skills, magic.
Awesome.
So anything you want to anything to do with your character, you can do it all from in there. But when you're actually playing, the only thing you really need to be on is your character sheet. You don't need to be anywhere else unless you're leveling up. So everything else is on there. Now, so that is kind of your character. Again, you can do your basic stuff, like if you click on your XP, you can change that. If you click on your hit points, you can change your hit points, hit die, or add your conditions in, which appear next to your banner there, which is all, again, clickable. So you click on it, it tells you everything to do with that condition. So this makes playing a lot easier and definitely a lot quicker to pick up for new players.
Right.
If they're not quite sure, what does that mean? Well, you just click it and then they can find out what that means. So that, I think, is everything to do with the character. So if we now come out and back to the main menu. So we're going to the Games Master screens now. So again, you go into the Games Master, you've got designer mode, you've got the start game, which will enable you to create your network game if you want to do that. I will go into that in a minute. Or you've got a GM controller, which is quite cool. So if you've got a separate device that you want to have sat on a particular screen, you can connect that, and it can be a part of your like Games Master artillery. So you've got everything there that you need. Also, if you've got a very big production, you might have a producer or an editor that will want access to things like your sounds, then they can do that from the GM controller. But we'll just go into designer mode for now. No, we'll start a game. Let's start a game. So we'll join a remote game. We'll choose one of the servers in the sky. There we go. So you can password your games if you want, so other people can't crash them. So, you know, when you're starting a game, you choose the game set. I'm going to use my one that I'm on, and then you choose your campaign that you're running. I'm running my demo campaign for now. And then what I do over on my other device, I will join that game. So this screen is, you can do quite a lot of stuff just from this screen. You've got all the Games Master. There we go. That's starting up. You've got all your information about your game that you selected. You've got the save button, which I'll show you what that does when we've got characters. And this one allows you to sync your data. So if you need to sync your data across devices, you can do that from there. So let's join. So this is just running on an old Kindle, Amazon Kindle. So it's not fussy. It doesn't really care what kind of device you run this on. So
it's iOS and Android compatible.
Yeah, it runs on pretty much anything you can get your hands on. And if it doesn't run on it, we'll probably, if there's a demand for it, we'll make it run on it. We've just done it for PC, Mac, Android, iOS, and Chrome OS.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so
Chrome stuff, that's awesome, because especially if you're playing with kids, all the kids tend to have Chromebooks now from school. So yeah, that's it. And it runs, like I say, it's not very demanding on the spec of the device. So you can run it like, you can run it on a phone. It's not fussy. It's only displaying screens and stuff like that. So I'm going to join with that character and that character. So if I join those, you'll see them pop up on that screen there. So I've now connected two characters from this one device. You've got chat, global chat there if you want to. We've got a wake-up call there as well. So we found that sometimes players disappeared off, and like we were sat waiting in the holding zone for ages. So you can
click on that and you get a big, massive bell go off on their device.
There you go.
Let them know that we're waiting for them. So we're going to start the campaign. I don't need to sync. And I'm just going to open up. So here we go. I've got my demo chapter that I'm in. So we're going to go into there. I've got a demo location. And this is my location.
Holy smokes.
Which is one of the maps that one of our team created for this. This was one of the maps that we had to create to sort out an issue with Rise of Tiamat. It was we created a pirate aspect of it, and they had to infiltrate a pirate cave, and this was the pirate cave. So to create a new area, very easy. Click on the book, click on the plus sign, give the area a name, Fighting Pit, set the new name, and then you click where it is. There it is. It's going to be in the Fighting Pit there. So we'll go in there, and we've got a blank screen. And then in this screen, if you click on the book here, it gives you all the different elements that you could ever use to build a particular area up, including third-party integration stuff as well. So you can call all that in if you use any of that. What we'll do, I'll pull in a overview. Okay, so we created the Fighting Pit. We're going to start by dragging off a overview, and just literally drag and drop that, and you type in what your overview is. This is a fighting pit used for fighting.
Original.
You can add images to this if you want. You can take images from our actual bundles if you want to. I won't do that for now, but there we go. We've created that. You can create a GM note. Players are not to know that there is a bad guy here. I don't know, whatever. And there's our players. Cool. Bad guy. Then you can have a story text. So story text is something you would read out. So we'd read this out. With the story text, you've also got an auto cue. So if you have a massively long load of text to read out, you can fire it up in auto cue mode, so it will scroll nice and gently for you.
Like a teleprompter?
Yeah, exactly that. So you don't have to be reading and using your finger to drag around. You can set the speed there as well. So that'll appear there. It's set up, as you can see, there's nothing over this right-hand side. It's because the way it's set up is in 3 areas. You've got your main area, which I've labeled story, maps, and points of interest along the side there. These are all customizable, but this is the way I run with it. Then on the right-hand side, I have encounters and XP-based stuff. So if I drag on an encounter, drop the up there, and we'll say bad guy, and we'll add a monster in, and we'll say, okay, let's have the bad guy is a commoner. Yeah, real hard bad guy. So we've got him. You can also do things like add things in as reinforcements. So if you want it to arrive in a particular round, like round 2, you can do that.
Oh, wow.
So when we generate this encounter now, so if we start the encounter, we'll auto roll our characters. So dog and egg can be rolled. And there's if you see, this is our encounter screen, very easy to use. Mm-hmm. You see, that's the initiative order. The commoner was rolled 11, so he's there. And the guy over here, you'll see is going to arrive in the 2nd round. Now, everything here is viewable by, you can click on, either scroll it here, or you can click on the eye to get a much bigger view of everything about the characters or the monster. Now, whose ever turn it is always displayed in the top corner, top right-hand corner. And then anyone else that you click on, so you might want to click on someone else if it's not their turn, just to find out something about them.
Mhm.
You just click on them and they always appear in the bottom right-hand corner. Again, you can use the eye to maximize them so you can see a bit more information about them. Or you can just close it and you go back to seeing what reinforcements are on the way. Turn progression, very easy. You just click down or up. And then when it gets to the end of that round, send a new round to players. So that will appear on their screen. And no, I don't want to do that. Reinforcements have arrived, and this guy's arrived, and he's rolled a 12. So he's up there. So everything is very customizable there.
Wow.
You can do things like you can add things on the fly if you want to, add a monster, add an NPC, parties are like groups of NPCs. So if, for example, one of our adventures, they had a group of NPCs that were with them for a particular part of the adventure. So I just added them in as a party. And then whenever I needed them to be put into an encounter or anything else, I'll just click on add party and I'll add whatever party number it was. And then they'll all appear for you. Random lists and add other area. See, add other area is pretty cool. So if, for example, we're in the fighting pit and you've got an encounter that you've got set up in another area, you can go, okay, add another area. And we've got nothing set up, but I have, haven't I? Yeah, I've got a testing one. Yeah. So in the location, in the cave entrance, I've got a testing counter that I set up. So I can click on that and I can bring someone in from that area, from that encounter. So if you've got, say, a barracks and you have an encounter outside the barracks, if you're quiet about it, the ones in the barracks might not ever know about it. So it's fine. But if your party, like mine, are very, very noisy and the first thing they do is cast Thunderwave, then you got the ability to pull in from another encounter. So you can bring them all in and get them all in. So that's quite a cool function. Randoms are quite good as well. So you've got a random list of stuff that you can choose. These are all based on dice rolls. So everything is true as if you would be doing it for real. So if I show you how we create the random stuff, I'll save that area. We'll come back to that in a minute. So if I go back again, right. So you've got your game set editor. And in here, we've got our data editor, which, as I was saying to you earlier on, is your compendiums, all your monsters, spells, and all that stuff is in there. Rules editor is if you want to change the rules. So if you want to change the way initiative works or attacking is with a D100, that's where you would go for that. Action scripts and action editors I'll come back to. Dice and cards are as what they say. These are all your available dice or cards that you can use to roll. So you can create new ones in there. We have a D5 in there for some reason. I think I was demoing that. Random rolls is your kind of fumble tables and stuff like that. So you can create random roll tables, as many as you like. Now, these are the interesting ones. You've got a random loot and random encounters. So if I go to the random encounters and we look at, let's have a look at this cultists one. You can see it rolls a D4, and inside it, if it rolls a 1, you're not going to encounter anything. If you roll a 2 or a 3, you're going to get between 5 and 10 cultists rolled randomly. So that will appear. If you're unlucky and you roll a 4 on that, then you get between 10 and 15 and 1 and 2 fanatics.
Ouch.
Yeah, pretty mean.
Painful.
So this is all done on the fly. So that's where you go to create your random encounters. And the same with the loot. You can create random loot tables as well. So if we say the small coin drop, we go into there. 1 to 3, this is a D6. 1 to 3 is nothing, don't win anything. 4 to 5, you get a small drop of 50 to 100 silver generated randomly. And if you roll a 6, you get 10 to 25 gold. So that's your small drop. So I'll show you now where that comes into play. So if we now go back into our encounter that we were just in. So obviously you would have all this set up beforehand. You wouldn't be flying around like I am here. So we're back in the fighting pit. Now, if I'm going to reset that encounter and we go into that, you've got a little treasure chest down here. So you can say, okay, this encounter is going to, we'll get a random list and we'll use that small coin drop that we just created. That'll do. One lot of coin drops. That's fine. We'll save that. And that is all we need to do for that. And then what we'll do, we will get rid of these guys that we just created. And we'll add in that random cultists that we just saw. Yeah, we'll just have one of those, that's fine. So we've now got the coin drop and the random cultists. So this just keeps things a bit more random for you. Now if we roll a start, oh, okay, it rolled something that they didn't encounter anyone. So we'll do that again. Remove that. There we go. So we auto roll this time, and there we go. We've got 6 cultists. Now, with our encounter screen, you can have you can have them grouped, like this one is a group of 6, or you can have them completely separate. Depends on how you work with things, how much you can handle without panicking. But this one rolls is a quantity of 6 cultists, so they didn't roll that one with the fanatics as well. So they just carry on, kill them off. If they kill them off, you'll see it should award them with the loot. So if we look at the loot, the small coin drop, which is one we said about, we're going to distribute. These guys are actually going to be there to actually have it. Oh, they rolled a 6, so it was the gold, and it was 18 gold. So, you know, it's very, very versatile the way you can run with this. You can do all this automatically, or you can do it all manually. It's completely up to the way the GM wants to roll with it.
Well, now from the standpoint of that map, are there tokens that people are moving on the map to show where they're at, or is it more representational from the standpoint of if they arrive at this point, this thing happens?
Yeah, this map is purely for you. Okay. This is so that you can see where everything is on the map. If you're running with, so this can, you can be compatible with things like Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds or whatever token system you want to use. With our spectator module, you can overlay your Roll20 map with your tokens on your stream. So what you could do, you could have your live camera feeds with your overlaid live stats from UGM and with the Roll20 on there as well, or whatever system you decide to use.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just one of the maps that we use, but these are all very easy to switch over. You just go in and change your map, select a different image, and they're associated with this particular location. So, if we were to create a new location, location 2, and we go into there, so that's blank at the moment. So what we can go, so you can either run it with, let's say, with a map, or you can do it with the cards as well. So you can roll your areas with cards across here, or you can run with the map. See, that's the cards, or click on that, and you can view where everything is on the map. So I sometimes find it's sometimes easier when I'm creating an area. I'll use the card view just to bung in all the different things I want. Then I go over to the map view and just place where they all associate to, where everything is. But
I'm loving the DM side of things. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, cool.
What the hell? Allergies have been bad today. I don't know what the hell's going on, but outside of all this, man, this is fucking impressive, man.
Thank you.
It really is. I was like, holy shit. I mean, I don't normally swear on camera either, but I love the action scripting, and we'll discuss that in a second. But yeah, wow, this is a lot more than I was expecting. So
excellent.
People use the term ultimate way too often, but this might live up to that.
Thank you.
You know? All right. This is amazing. This is a lot more than I was expecting, Justin. I mean, this is 3 years of work.
Yeah.
I mean, and the action scripting and being able to set up the encounter so that way they basically just kind of almost run themselves from the standpoint of you don't forget to roll for loot because it's part of that. And it divides things up for people. And like that's one of the things that we always have problems with is a lot of times we're not even thinking about loot. We're trying to get through something. So we forget to loot things. And then on top of that, then it's somebody has to write it down and they distribute it out for everybody. So it's nice that a lot of this stuff is already taken care of for you. So that's pretty awesome.
And with the loot system, one thing that it's always kind of bugged me is, when you're fighting, I don't know, you're fighting someone and they're attacking you with a short sword. You never find that short sword. Where what you can do with this, if you've got, say, if we go back to, where is it? So if you go to the monsters, for instance, and you have that, let's go with a commoner again. It's easy to change. So, in here, you can really customize the monster or the whatever it is, and what you can also do with it is add a loot to them as well. So if a particular monster always carries a bow, always carries 30 arrows or whatever, if you add them into the loot, so this, let's just say this guy always carries a 9-pound cannon. I don't think he does that.
That's quite the commoner.
Yeah. Let's just say he carries a short bow, for instance. So now whenever you kill this monster in an encounter, their loot will be added to the encounter. So, I mean, most of the time you're not going to want it, but it's there. So if you've got, like I said to you earlier on, we encountered a load of NPCs that followed my adventurers around, where they didn't start with any weapons or anything. They were just randoms that decided to follow them around. But they started picking up the loot from these like killed bad guys, where you would normally worry about things like that. It just makes it so it's a bit more fun. So, if you're killing something in particular, it might drop some loot, it might drop some coins, it might, The other thing that we do is your NPCs. We treat NPCs exactly like a character. So you can create and go to town with an NPC if you want to. Really customize them as far as you would with a character, from spells to what their equipment, and that stays with that NPC then for good. So it will always carry with them, which is really useful, especially if they ever decide to jump in an encounter to help out. This guy's got a spear, so he's got something to use. These can be based off of monsters from the compendium, or they can be completely custom to whatever you want. So they have the same facilities of creating like you would a character. So if this one, this one might be a fighter, and you might be a level 3 fighter or something. And that will then go, yes, telling me to level up. That will then go across with that NPC. And maybe we should really, really develop those, especially if you're creating a big world and you may come across people multiple times. An NPC could be a goodie, could be a baddie, it could be a neutral. It's open for whatever you want to use it for. If we go back to our location, not that one, that one. So back to our fighting pit. So now we've got our experience, which we can dish out if we want to. We've got our encounter, which we can rejoin at any point. He's dead, so no really any need to join that. And you've got your loot. So if we reopen our loot, we can say, okay, these are the 2 that are in the room that are looting it. That's the loot. See, now what you've got here is if I'm playing as a player, I have my inventory on my left there, and I can take stuff from here. Now, this comes on a first come, first serve basis. So with my lot, they normally fight for it. So it's a case of you can be sensible with it and say, okay, I'm going to have this, you're going to have that. Okay, and we'll just take what we want. So they go, okay, I'm going to take 10 gold. That's what I'm going to have. On the GM, I can see exactly who's taken what. On theirs, they can only see what they're taking. But on the GM, you've got a lot more vision to see what's happening there. And if someone's like taking everything, the next person that gets there, there's none left. They can't get it. So that's sometimes quite fun, seeing them fight over the loot. The other good thing about the loot system is because if you open the loot system, it asks you who's there. Now, if, for example, we had a scenario where there was a chest or something, but it was quite high up somewhere. It was in a tower. It was hidden away in a tower. And I think the rogue went up there to look in the chest. And he looks in the chest. Only he can see what's in the chest. And he takes some nice stuff. And then he gets down again. They said, well, what was in the chest? And he goes, well, nothing.
Right.
But he's taken whatever was in the chest, but he can say what was in it. It's up to him. Or if you're kind DM, you can just always include everyone in on it, so everyone always sees what can be looted. Again, entirely how you want to run with it. Now, there's other bits and pieces in here. So that's the first section, which is all your main kind of guts of how you create an area. You got some spacers and separators. Create a separator. So just maybe you just separate stuff around. You got ability checks, NPC and monsters, clues. So you might have a clue there that you might want to have, say, a letter or some kind of script on a wall that you've like created in Photoshop or something like that. You can draw it out, attach it to a clue. There's something special. Can't spell. Special. Add a clue image. This could be anything. That'll do. It's a miniatures thing, and you can enable to send to players. So if I tick on that, it's not going to do anything because we haven't got any players connected. But what we've got now, there's our something special. You can add some description to it as well if you want to. You can click on it to get a better view of what you're looking at. But you've also got this little envelope. And what you can do with that, you can click it and it will go down to your players. So if they found a specific clue, it will be stored on their character sheet, so they can recall it at a later date. If they, we remember that. Oh yeah, it's on that thing we found, and they can go through their notes on their character sheet and it will bring up the picture, and they can have a look at it and maybe decipher it a bit better because they've learned how to decipher it. I don't know.
Right.
So that's quite cool.
Yeah, I like that idea of being able to send like handouts to players.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times, you know, like for instance, this clue, I'm not sure if it would be outside of this clue issue, probably under map, but it would be, you know, like if somebody found a map somewhere, you can send it out to all the players so everybody has the exact same map.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing with clues is what you can do, what we're working on is the ability to scramble a clue automatically. So you as a DM would write in what this message says. When the player finds it and you send it to them, they can only read it if they know that language. So on their character sheet, they can read it. If it's on their character sheet and they know that language, it's fine. They can read it. If it's not one of their known languages, it's gobbledygook. They can't read it at all. It's just scrambled. So that's quite a fun little thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got maps for sending maps to people, images, again, interest points. It could be something that you want to, as a GM, want to flag out for yourself. So you always know, oh yeah, I'll make a mental note that urn does something in particular. It's not just there for set dressing. Jump to enables you to just automatically jump to another particular area or chapter. They might go for a portal. You don't want to have to go back and forward through the menus. You can just say, okay, I want to jump straight to that point. Puzzles are pretty cool. You can create puzzles and store them in there so that you can create things for your players to find. Quests, self-explanatory. Messages are quite good, and questions are good as well, because like what you were saying about handouts, sometimes you don't really want any of the other players to know you're saying something to a particular player.
Absolutely.
So I could bung one in here and say private blah blah blah. Hello. And you can require an acknowledgement, so when it appears on theirs, they can say they've read it, so you know they've read it. Again, that just that goes down to the character, so you can click on that, send this message. Yeah, so you can prepare in advance what you're going to be sending, which is
right, like an NPC is whispering into someone's ear, maybe.
Yeah, so you might know that when they get to this point, they're going to be asked this particular question. And if they're going to be asked a question, you've got a question there as well, which is very similar, but you can have some prepared answers, like yes or no. Do you get passed a note under the table, whatever. Do you want to join? Do you want to join a particular faction or something like that? And you can say yeah or no, or free types. So they can type in an answer. And then you click it and it sends it down. It can't be activated in this mode. And it will send it down to the characters, any particular, so you can specify who it goes to, or it can go to all of them. And it comes back as a reply, yes. So you might say, you've been slipped a note under the table. Do you want to join by a representative of the Harpers? Do you want to join them, but keep it quiet? Well, and they can say, well, okay, right back. And they just click a button and no one even knows that like transactions happened. So that's quite cool. You've got scene animations. They're quite fun. So when we get to an interesting point in an adventure, I sometimes do a scene animation. So let's not do it in there. Let's go to save that. So if we go to the entrance and we create a scene animation, put it at the top, and we'll have a zoom crash. Pirate cave, hold for 3 seconds. Here's a scene change, yep. You have Cave of the Pirates. Something like that. And then when we get to this area, they can you click play. And across everyone's devices, it's like a scene change.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, very cool. And you can, you can, 1 second. This is, and why is my phone ringing? It shouldn't be. 1 moment. Sorry about that. 1 moment.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean that I like that, the fact that you can, you know, delimit that or make special that you're moving into someplace new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just brings you back to earth, because obviously you're always looking at your character sheet, always, and suddenly the whole screen just goes dark and it boom, full screen, and it's like, whoa, something bad's happening. Like I did it the other day when they encountered one of the dragons in Rise of Tiamat. And it was a big encounter. It's something that they've been working up to for a long time. And bam. And it's like, okay, business.
And you can add sound effects to that as well. So when it comes up on the screen, it makes a big hullabaloo.
That's right, yeah. Talking to sound effects, you've got a whole load of different stuff here as well. Timers, got timers as well. So if you've got particular timers for stuff, you can track them. Traps, wrap-up points are cool. If I get to a point and I want to call it a night, I drop in a wrap-up point, type some notes out, so when I come back to it next time, I kind of remember where we were at. So that's quite good. Then you've got mood, music, and sound effects. So music, remember I said you've got 2 different areas here. The left I use for story, right I use for encounters and XP. Well, the button down here in the bottom right-hand corner brings you up a new one, which I use for audio. Again, you can use it for whatever you like, but I like to put my audio in there. So if I drag in a music, battle, we'll drag it from a source. These can be local MP3s or whatever you like, or they can be from a bundle that we provide. So I'll just grab one from one of our bundles for now. So we'll choose counter music, and we'll go with that one. I'll turn it down though, deafness otherwise. Yeah, that's cool. And then we'll drag in a sound effect as well. A scream. We'll drag in the scream. We'll have a Wilhelm scream. A falling Wilhelm scream, 50%, I would say. So yeah, so you've got complete audio system built in as well. So we go to the area, click that, music starts playing, and then you've got some screams going on or whatever there. Then you've got your area, your campaign quick area over here, which is where you can do things like stop your audio, fade it out. So we'll just fade that out for now. And these ones are very quick access stuff. So it doesn't matter where you are. I can be out in a menu here. I've always got access to my quick access menu, which I have things like campaign time, so I can keep track of the time when they last had a long rest. So you've got those on there. Some random roll stuff. Some campaign notes, all my compendiums, and things like that. So I've got all that available to me here, and then I've got my rules system here as well. So if you remember when I showed the player one, the player had this where they looked at falling. Well, in this one with the GM, you can do things. you've got access to all your compendiums, like your monsters and stuff as well. So you can have everything in here, which is quite good. Then we've got stuff to do with the characters, so I can send a message, enter a trade, do some shape changing, send an image. That's the party generator, which I said about earlier on. Timers, if I've got any timers running, like, I don't know, if they come across a stinking cloud or something and it's going to last for an hour, you can stick that on there as a stinking cloud lasting for an hour, so you can keep track of when it disappears. Quick controls, these are good ones. I have a bad joke alert, so if someone tells a bad joke, bad joke alert. So we have one of our players that's always forever cracking bad jokes. So we have things like a tumbleweed goes across the screen as well. And then you've got your quick access to audio as well. So I've got some screams and some clocks and some music as well in there as well. So you've got access to all of that stuff, which is quite useful. So you don't have to hunt
around for it.
Yeah. So that's kind of where the GM stuff. I mean, with this screen, you've also got your legend, so you know what 1 and 2 actually is. Multiple zooms for the map. Then you've got the spectator, which is the final part, which I do need to then join. So if I join the spectator, let's go all the way out again, and we go to the final part of what we were going to be doing. So I'm going to create a game again, remote game. Choose the game set and the actual campaign. Then I'll join my characters in again. So I've got, we'll take you and you. Okay, ready. So you asked earlier on about sending characters. So if for example, someone can't make it, but you want to send something to one of your other players to play while they're not there, you can do it from here. So you just click on whatever device is wants to actually use that character. And you just click send character sheet, and you can send a pre-made one. So if you've created an adventure that you want to distribute to people, you might have created some base characters for that adventure. You can send that from there, or you can send the main character, in which case you just send whichever one you want to, and then that'll appear for that character to use on their device. It's quite useful. So if I just now start this, it's not going to be the best example because obviously I'm doing it all on my own. But what a spectator looks like is when they sign in or you log in as a spectator, you get a screen like this. It's all customizable. But when initiative goes to their turn, they go into the forefront. So you always know whose turn it is. If you're a GM like I am, I've got access to all this as well, which obviously you wouldn't give that access to your players. They'd only need to, at most know hit points and stuff like that if you want them to know anything at all. If sometimes you don't want that, you just don't turn on spectator. But this is all completely live, and these can be overlaid on top of live streams as well. And it's all live data. So if I take some damage, I get the damage there. Nice. Or we get some experience or something. Everything appears on the screen, which is really good. So it makes it a lot more immersive for not just a player, but people that are watching it as well. So they can see things as it's happening. And also what you can do with the spectator, which I can't show it while I've got it running like this, but you can do things like display particular rules. So if you're discussing a rule and no one's sure of something in particular, you can bring it up on the spectator as well. So everyone can look at the rule and, oh, okay, that's what it is. And if you're watching it on a stream, you can also make it appear on your stream. So it's not like a private discussion between the people playing the game.
Right,
it's like educational, I guess. It's like sharing what they're talking about. And that can be said for anything. So, you can display things on the spectator and on the stream that maybe you only want the streamers to know, but not the players.
Right.
So if they're fighting a particular monster, you might want to just throw that monster's stats up on your stream, but not on your player's spectator screen. So, it enables you to do that with things like equipment, monsters, rules. It's quite versatile. So you can get your viewers really involved and give them something to really get involved with and immerse them as players.
It seems like a great way to engage people. It's fun to watch some of these streams out there, but I mean, having something interactive like that where you can see people's, oh man, they just took a huge hit. Look at their hit points. Oh boy, they're going down. This is terrible. And then you throw up they're fighting a Tarrasque, so they're all of a sudden exactly what they're fighting. I mean, it's crazy stuff. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah. So I think that kind of concludes our tour. I can't think of anything I might have missed. Probably missed loads of stuff, but gives you an idea without blowing your heads off of what kind of things are inside the Ultimate Games Master.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that sounds fantastic. It looks like there's a whole bunch of stuff in there, and I wouldn't even know where to begin. I just start playing with it. So now you have a Kickstarter coming up on the 27th.
Yes.
How are you rewarded? I mean, how is the pricing model for this going to work?
Without the Kickstarter, our prices are based on, for a Games Master, is $5 a month. So subscription $5 a month, which is very affordable for what you get.
Sure.
For the full immersion, which includes all of your audio, there's stuff in there that we didn't touch on, like you can control smart lighting and things like that as well. And control, like if you've got Sirenscape, you can control Sirenscape all from within the app. That is $7.50 a month.
Okay.
So with $7.50, you get everything, absolutely everything you've seen here. Now, that is out of Kickstarter. Within Kickstarter, we're kind of bundling 12-month packages together for really ridiculous prices. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head what they are, but it's something like £35 for the full immersion package for 12 months, which is massive discount.
Yeah.
But we're also offering things in there like lifetime licenses, which we won't be offering outside of the Kickstarter.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so it's quite a lot of flexibility for people's budgets. And at the end of the day, like yourself, we want people to play games. We want people to enjoy playing games and being away, not necessarily around a table. Because when we play, when it wasn't as things are at the moment, we had 5 of us around the table and another guy living in Germany, and he used to dial in and play. Where now we're all dialing in and playing him. Yeah,
right.
But it's what UGM gives you. It's that flexibility to play round the table with people that aren't around your table or any way you want. And like I said earlier, you don't even have to have an internet connection. You can play it as a LAN party if you want to, or completely disconnected. It's very flexible. So yeah, the Kickstarter is going to be offering some like packages that we won't be offering outside of the Kickstarter. So it's pretty cool.
Well, now so you mentioned specifically like the DM pricing. Is there a separate pricing for players?
Oh no, players are free.
Oh,
we want players to.
Folks, what more do you want? Free.
Yeah, free. Best word in the world.
Absolutely.
The last thing we want is for GMs taking on a new product and said, "Oh, we're using this product. Oh, by the way, you all need to pay."
Yeah, right. You're absolutely right.
We don't want that. We want people. We want them to go, "Oh, we've got this new product. Awesome! You just download it on your phone, and that's it.
Mhm.
You just register an account, free, and you can connect, and we'll play." So that's kind of the pricing model we've gone with. So $5 for a GM, which includes everything I've shown you, apart from the sound, lighting, and third-party integration stuff, and $7.50 a month for everything.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's great. So we talked about this off camera, but or in our kind of pre-interview. But so are you going to be getting some additional content from third-party publishers and things like that to add to your repertoire?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking with other, like I say, it's a completely open system.
Mm-hmm.
So we can cope with pretty much any game you can throw at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a case of just writing the rules into it, and some of the calculation parts need changing. But
Mm-hmm.
the third party content, we're talking with other publishers. We'd love to talk to the big guns if they'll talk to us one day. That'd be very nice.
Yeah.
But we're not tied to anything. And if
I agree.
And if you want to use any content, you can just add it in. It's not an issue. You create a new game set, straight world, and then you add whatever content in. You can base it off of an existing one. I mean, we're going to ship with your open source ones like the SRD 5.1. Which is like 5th edition, SRD 3.5, which is 3.5 edition. Right. The Pathfinder's got a PRD, which we're adding in, 1st and 2nd edition, and I think Starfinder has as well. Mm-hmm. So we're going to try and sort of cover the open ones, which will then give you a template to create your own stuff. So you can like copy those. So, okay, I'm going to base my world on the PRD. Mm-hmm. And you just literally copy that and then make your changes.
Okay, awesome. That sounds great.
Yeah.
I was thinking about your sound effects because I'm not sure if you saw my interview with my Sound Delve. He has a amazing application. I know he's always looking to talk to people, so maybe you two should hook up.
Yeah, well, I think we're already in talks with him actually.
Oh, good.
He said he spoke to you. He said he had
Christian's a great guy.
Yeah,
really nice guy. I love this. I think it's fantastic, and I think our viewers are going to love it too. It just again puts everything in the palm of your hand from the standpoint of being able to run an entire adventure with or without an internet connection, locally, remotely. I mean, everything you could possibly want, and a complete customization of the app, the rules, the setting, everything. So I mean, once you get this stuff done, if you're doing a homebrew world, all that stuff is going to be written down there and you won't have to worry about it. And for players, it's free, which I think is awesome. And I can't wait. July 27th can't come fast enough for me.
Brilliant. And I think the other thing that kind of stands out is the content you create is local to you. Mm-hmm. The only thing our servers do in the cloud is manage your data going backwards and forwards between your game. That's it. Yeah. So anything you create, it's you've got it. Yeah. It's yours. And we're kind of looking at, because once you've created your world, your homebrew system, or even your own rule set, we're looking at doing an export, so you can then export that stuff to a PDF. Mm-hmm. So you can actually create your stuff and export it to a proper looking PDF that you can then sell on whatever
DM's Guild or wherever.
Yeah, that's it. Wherever you like. So
it's awesome. I love it. Justin, it's been fantastic getting a chance to sit down with you and just look at the application, because I was scoping around. I'm like, there's got to be like a demo version. No, there's not. So this is the only way I get a chance to see it, and it was pretty awesome. I hope everybody who watched this today goes over your Kickstarter and buy.
Yeah. Yes, please. Buy. Definitely.
And as you mentioned, none of your data, none of your ideas, none of that stuff is being stored on the server. The server is literally just facilitating the file transfer and the sync between your devices. So you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. for those of you guys with your tinfoil hats on, you know who you are. Your data is not being stolen. So
Yeah, and if you run a local game, it doesn't even touch our servers.
yeah, right. I just love that. I love, the fact that you can run a local game reminds me of the old school LAN parties we used to have playing Doom and stuff like that. And it's just a cool idea. I never would have thought about that, but that's fantastic.
Yeah, this enables you to like rock up in the middle of nowhere as long as there's power.
Right.
You just
Well,
plug
you were mentioning, you said there are some people in a castle. Of course, they'd be in a castle with no Wi-Fi because castles don't come with Wi-Fi, folks.
Nope.
And they were able to plop down and play a local game right there. No problem. That's pretty awesome to me.
Yeah, it's all good fun.
Yeah. I do one little thing with my folks that I bring on, and it's a little quick fire round. I'm gonna ask you a few hard-hitting investigational questions, and you must answer them.
Okay.
All right. And I always ask this one because it's very interesting to me: chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
You're the second person. Are you not a chocolate fan, or you just prefer vanilla?
I like chocolate. I just think vanilla you can do a lot more with.
I guess so. I'm not sure if you are a imbiber of adult beverages.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I have a Scotch or whiskey. Now, people think that's the same thing, but it's really not.
Scotch.
I'm a Scotch man myself, not a big whiskey man. And the problem is, I mean, there is Scotch whiskey, but then there's like whiskey. And so whiskey here in the United States is bourbon, and I cannot stand bourbon. It just makes me want to retch. And I may edit that question out because I think it's going to cause too much controversy.
Okay.
and not because it's about because it's about booze. It's because people are going to debate the Scotch and whiskey thing. So let me think. Spring or fall?
Spring.
Yeah, in the UK, very different weather patterns over there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like just wet all the time, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I like spring. It's. I mean, where we live out in the country, down right in the southwest of England.
Okay.
And it's lovely. Spring is beautiful. Beaches.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Car or motorcycle?
Car.
Okay. Yeah, I asked that question because some people they've always wanted a motorcycle, but they don't have one, or their significant other won't let them have one. So they're like, I really would like a motorcycle, but I have a car. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've not got to that point yet where I think I need a motorcycle.
Right, exactly.
My wife, I think, would. She likes bikes. So
there you go, maybe.
Yeah.
Or just a very fast moped.
Yeah.
My husband wants a scooter, and I tell him he can't have one because I don't trust him on it. It's not that I don't trust everybody else; I don't trust him on it because I feel like he's just gonna like, ooh, look at the bird and smash into something. So, last question: cake or pie?
Pie.
Ooh, what's your favorite pie?
Depends what you're talking about. Pie. You're talking a savory pie or a sweet pie?
Well, you know what? We can go either way because pies. You guys tend to have a lot of savory pies there, so.
Yeah, I mean, I like. Gosh.
Give me a savory and a sweet pie.
I like a chicken and mushroom pie. I like
that sounds good.
Pie. We had something down here in Cornwall called pasties, which they're like a pie, but like a pastry pie. They're really. They're awesome. If it's a sweet pie, I would probably go with apple pie. I like an apple pie.
Yeah, a good apple pie. Actually, what I used to love was my mom used to make me baked apples.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, just the smell. It's just amazing. But yeah, I'm pretty fond of apple pie myself. As far as the savory pies goes, I don't think the United States has enough savory pies, honestly. I think there's a market for them here.
Oh, I think so.
Like you get your chicken pot pie and your beef pot pie and your shepherd's pie, which really isn't shepherd's pie, and it's not a authentic enough for me, but like I know, but I read recipes and I know that's not it. But yeah, I could do with some savory pies here. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, I like a savory pie.
Yeah. Ooh, I think most people don't really think about it, but yeah, they're pretty damn good. That being said, I am starving now. Thank you very much. And I need to let you go because I need to go have some dinner.
Yeah.
And it's got to be, what time is it? It's about midnight or 10 o'clock. Just almost 11.
It's 11:15 here.
Yeah. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on and talking to us about this. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And I can't wait for the Kickstarter. I will have links to everything below. If you like this video, hit the like, click the subscribe button. I think I finally figured out where that's at. If not, I'll just flip my thing. But yeah, it's right there. Subscribe because it helps us out so we can make more videos like this. Justin, it was an absolute pleasure. Thank you again.
My pleasure. Take care, Mike.
Yep, take care.